We're here. Good morning, everybody. You're all very welcome to our second Irish Suppliers Showcase. I'm Maya, Director of the NTOI and also for my sins in the CPD committee. It is as a committee in the CPD realm, sorry, the flea in front of my face, that we decided to invite Irish suppliers to come and speak to us as much as we can this year because we're all in the business of promoting health and we wanted to be able to offer an opportunity to all of us to understand what's local, especially with the situation, globally going on. Who are our local heroes and how can we find out more about them? How can we use their products and services, and how can we collectively rise the tide, basically, for all of us who are interested in the health and well-being of humans. Um, so we hope that the information again today will be good. The last one was very well received, and we've got some good speakers here again today. Just to let you know that unfortunately Daniel from Wild Atlantic Hemp cannot be here. He is desperately unwell and so couldn't make it today. So we've just got the three others today. And each supplier will have up to 15 minutes to do their presentation, and then I'll field a 5-minute Q&A off the chat. So if you've got any questions as they come along, please type them in the chat, and I'll endeavour to get through those. And if by chance, we are going to be strict to time, but if by chance we run out of time, then I'll ask the presenters to supply their contact information, and you guys can carry on the conversation independently afterwards. Two pieces of admin before we kick off. Those of you who were here last time will hear me bang on about logging your CPD immediately. Again, please do that as soon as the certificate arrives and don't leave it as the last minute Christmas panic. And just so that you know, this webinar is being recorded. Because of the way we're running this on Zoom, we cannot guarantee that you won't appear in the recording, in the audience view. We are doing our best to minimize this, but just so that you know, there is a chance that your profile picture or you, if you're there with your video on, may appear. And if required, we will seek permission. So do let us know that you would like your permission sought should you appear, but it will only probably be 2 or maybe 3 people who actually do appear. Right, so I think we'll kick off. We'll start with Michael Donovan, and he is from PPC Galway. He is one of the second generation of this, or married into the second generation of this company, and they've been in business in the west of Ireland for 30 years. So this is interesting to hear about him and their business development. They bring us, among other things, Eskimo oils, which were in my household for years and had the absolute feat of my kids being able to take them off the spoon. So we were just speaking there about the junior and leaving cert exams, which we both have kids entering today. So good luck to anyone else who is in the same boat. And I was ruining the fact that I actually haven't had Eskimo oils in the fridge for a while, and I probably should have. Anyway, I will hand it over to Michael now to tell you about PPC Galway.
Thanks so much, Maya. Will I share my screen?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Okay, can you guys all see the screen? Yeah, all good. Well, Maya, thank you for that lovely introduction. And yes, we do have a Leaving Cert student in our house. I know you've got a junior cert as well. So when you started to mention that you had Eskimo in the house for years, I was saying, well, then you don't need to worry too much about the junior cert. But anyway, so here we go. So guys, listen, thank you first of all so much for the opportunity to talk to you all today. I know this is a short presentation, so we'll try and get it done in 15 minutes or 20 minutes if we can. I suppose just what we kind of do with these presentations is give you a little bit of background about ourselves. So our business in Galway, we'll talk a little bit about omega-3 very, very quickly. And then we'll focus maybe on some of kind of the unique selling points of Eskimo. We'll show you a few studies and all of that. And obviously, as Maya said, if we run out of time, you guys can feel free to contact me via email or whatever afterwards, and we're happy to chat to you guys then. Is that okay? Okay, so Eskimo 3, so premium omega-3 since 1991. So the brand has actually been on the market globally since 1991. So it's been around a long time, and it has stood the test of time, really. And it's a very popular brand with Irish consumers. As you know, Irish consumers, trust is a big issue for them, and they do value a brand that they know they can trust. And we're in the lovely place, like Maya actually mentioned there, where we now have people giving the product to their own kids who took it themselves when they were children. So we're kind of a second generation business in every sense of the word. So yeah, so we're based in beautiful Galway in the west of Ireland. That's myself and Olive. Olive's parents started off the business 33 years ago, 1992. Pat and Phil Curran, that's where the name PPC came from. And myself and Olive have been running it more or less for the last 10 years. So I suppose a little bit of background is the whole omega-3 thing then very, very quickly. You're probably familiar with the research that was carried out by these two Danish scientists called Bang and Darberg, who spent, I suppose, a period of time living with the Inuit people in Greenland. And they were really amazed, I suppose, by the outstanding health outcomes that they had, even though they had what would have been regarded as a high-fat diet. So what they discovered was that in terms of heart disease, skin disease, and joint disease, the Inuit people, the Eskimos, only had 1/10 of those diseases compared to ordinary Scandinavians and ordinary Europeans. And this was, I suppose, the real start of the whole premium omega-3 sector. This is the man who actually developed Eskimo oil originally, a guy called Dr. Tom Saldin. He was a cardiologist in Uppsala in Sweden. He's like renowned for his expertise in the whole area of, particularly into cardiovascular health, has published over 400 papers into cardiovascular health and has written two books, which have been translated into 10 different languages. And I suppose he was really concerned with the amount of, young people that were actually presenting to him with cardiovascular health issues at the time. He used to use a very sort of basic, crude form of cod liver oil back in the day, but he found it just didn't cut the mustard. So he wanted to develop something cleaner, something pure, something more effective, and that's what led him to develop Eskimo 3. So, guys, as you all know, I suppose omega-3 consumption varies across the world. Here in Ireland, the UK, and America, we're particularly poor. I think about 90% almost of Irish adults don't get enough omega-3 in their diet. You can see from the map on the screen there, the areas in red are regarded as very low levels of omega-3. That's less than 4%. Compared to other parts of the world. So definitely in Ireland, we just don't eat enough fish. We don't get enough omega-3 naturally through our diet. So if you don't do that, then it's really important to take a good quality omega-3 supplement like Eskimo 3. We know that omega-3 is an essential fatty acid. We know it's so important for so many different health benefits. I love this little chart because at a glance you can see male or female, every organ in the body, every cell in the body craves and demands omega-3. We need it so badly for brain function, for eye health, for heart health, really important for hair, skin, and nails, for joints, also, of course, for pregnancy. And with Eskimo, we've got vitamin D in there as well, so really good for bone health and for immune system too. And we know we don't get it in our diet. And again, as we said, that's why we really important to supplement with good quality omega-3. They do refer to omega-3 as the alpha of the omegas, and this is because there is so much research actually into omega-3. Over 50,000, believe it or not, research papers have been done on all the various different health benefits for omega-3. Omega-3 is the most researched nutraceutical, the most researched vitamin or mineral on the shelves in health stores in Ireland today. There's more research into omega-3 than any other vitamin out there. Okay, so guys, you all know all that stuff already, so we don't want to labor the point in terms of the health benefits of omega-3 too much. So we just look at some of the main benefits in terms, I suppose, of health claims legislation and what you're allowed to say in some of the studies that have been done on it. So firstly, we're going to look into the whole area of omega-3 and heart health. Sorry, guys. So this is the VITAL trial. This was done in 2018. So this was a randomized double-blind trial. 25,000 healthy adults took part in this trial over a 5-year period. They supplemented with high-dose vitamin D and high-dose omega-3. And over the 5-year period, what they found was a 28% reduction in the risk of heart attacks and a 17% reduction in the risk of coronary heart disease. Similarly, with Eskimo itself, this was a study that was done on Eskimo 3 liquid, so on our large liquid product. Maya mentioned taking it off the spoon earlier. So this is our large um, bottle. It's a 210 ml bottle. You take 1 teaspoon a day. In this study, though, they supplemented with a dessert spoon, so 15 ml daily for 6 months. And over that period of time, they found a reduction in triglycerides of 64%, um, total cholesterol reduced by 8%, fibrinogen by 23%, and a reduction in blood pressure by 9% over a 6 month period just using Eskimo 3 liquid. So I suppose when you look at the the body of research that's been done on omega-3 into the whole area of heart disease, you're very safe to say that omega-3 is scientifically proven to reduce your risk of heart disease. So increasing your omega-3 intake has been shown to reduce the risk of mortality from coronary heart disease or sudden cardiac death, to reduce the risk of myocardial infarction, so from heart attack. Also proven, of course, to lower triglycerides, improve blood vessel function, and also lowers blood pressure. Of course, all those claims and all those results are based on meta-analysis, so thousands of studies, and these are the conclusions that have been drawn from that. So really, really important to take omega-3, particularly for heart disease. It's the number one reason to take it in terms of for heart health, I should say. We do know that, heart disease is the number one killer in Ireland. More people in Ireland die from heart disease than from bowel cancer, breast cancer, and prostate cancer put together. More actually die from heart disease. So really, really important to supplement your diet with good quality, high strength omega-3. So the second area, guys, we'll just look at quickly then is omega-3 and brain health. So we know that when we talk about brain health for omega-3, we tend to focus on DHA particularly. We know that DHA is one of the most important components of omega-3. We know that the brain is 60% fat and that DHA is one of the most important fats in the brain. And again, supplementing with omega-3 with high strength, particularly with DHA, can show improvements in stuff like memory and concentration, learning ability, so improvements in cognition and working memory, and may also help to actually prevent cognitive decline. And then some emerging research on the combination of EPA and DHA together in the whole area of mental health has shown huge benefits for areas like ADHD, major depressive disorder, so MDD, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and has even shown potential for the treatment of traumatic brain injury. So I suppose, how much omega-3 do you need to take? Well, the guidelines around this from the European Food Safety Authority is 250 milligrams of DHA on a daily basis for brain function, which of course will be at the lower end. The studies around mental health, though, have shown taking 1,000 milligrams of omega-3 in a 3:2 ratio between EPA and DHA. So that'd be a 60% EPA and 40% DHA, which of course is exactly the ratio in Eskimo 3. Here is an amazing testimonial we got from a customer of ours who had suffered concussion. She had a brain injury. She was suffering with brain fog and mental fatigue and so on. She started taking, it was actually our liquid product, our Eskimo 3 liquid, which was high strength EPA and DHA, and she found huge benefits from taking that over a period of time. This is just a very brief version of her testimony, but there's a big long email that she sent to us, which went into far more detail than that we obviously can't share. So we know that omega-3 is amazingly good for you. And I suppose something that you guys will be thinking about, something that consumers will be thinking about on the ground is there's so many different omega-3 products on the market. How do you decide which product is the right one for you to take? So we kind of call this area like factors to consider when choosing an omega-3 product. And the first area we tend to focus on is purity. So obviously a concern for a lot of consumers is the fact that fish oils and fish could indeed be contaminated with stuff like heavy metals, environmental toxins, PCBs, and so on. So how can you ensure that the product you're taking is clean and that it's pure? Well, obviously you've got studies to support that. This, for example, this chart on the screen, I mean, this is just third-party analysis. So you've got your Council for Responsible Nutrition, the Global Organization for EPA and DHA, the World Health Organization, the European Pharmacopoeia, and so on. So they set international standards for, environmental toxin limits, oxidation limits, and for heavy metals. And as you can see just at a glance on that chart in the second column there, Eskimo 3 passes all the time, every single one of those. As well as that, there's lots and lots of various different studies that have been done on purity in different markets around the world. Here was one that was done by the Swedish Food Agency. It's an older study, it was done in 2004. But in this study, what they did was they tested 18 different fish oils for dioxins and PCBs, and they've literally plotted them on a chart. And again, if you can see the chart on the right-hand side, you can see the products that have high levels of dioxins and PCBs. And if you come all the way across to the left-hand side, you can see Eskimo 3 liquid and Eskimo 3 capsules at practically zero. So really, really clean. So you can be very, very confident, guys, that Eskimo is a very pure and very clean omega-3 fish oil. And I suppose the contributing factors to that, the reasons for that is number one, the sourcing, the type of fish that we use. So I suppose years ago when I was growing up, my mother would have given me cod liver oil like everybody else. That was kind of the original of the species in terms of omega-3 products. Modern day nutrition has moved on a little bit from that. With Eskimo, we don't use cod, we don't use the liver, we use small oily fish. So sardines, anchovies, and mackerel, that's the only kind of fish we use. And we only use the muscle of the fish. So we don't use internal organs, livers or brains or anything like that. We know, of course, that larger fish like cod are predator fish. They feed on other fish types that may also be carrying toxins in their body. We know that they have a longer lifespan, that they're living longer in the oceans, and they have a greater potential to absorb more toxins as well. So sardines, anchovies, and mackerel are a brilliant source of omega-3 because they're naturally really high in omega-3 anyway. But also they're quite young when they're caught. They have a very short lifespan. And as I said, we don't use the liver, we use the external part of the fish. Only the muscle of the fish is used. The sardines, or sorry, the trawlers, by the way, that carry the sardines, anchovies, and mackerel don't carry any other type of fish. That's all they carry. So there's no possibility of cross contamination or anything like that. And every single bottle of Eskimo oil can be traced back to the day the fish was caught, the trawler that carried it, and the actual trawl itself it came from. So it's fully traceable and fully sustainable. Okay. The next area, guys, just to really quickly touch on is the whole area of freshness and stability. Because when we hear people talk about quality in terms of omega-3, it's kind of a generic term. So when you drill down into quality, what does it actually mean? And one of the most important areas around quality, excuse me, is the whole area of stability and freshness. And what we mean by stability is the ability of the fish oil to resist rancidity. In other words, that it won't oxidize in the body after consumption, or indeed it won't go off sitting in the bottle on the shelf either. So Eskimo contains a patented antioxidant mixture called Pufenox, which is added to the fish oil to make sure it keeps fresh and stable for longer. I suppose the gold standard in relation to that word quality around fish oils is something called TOTOX. This stands for total oxidation. So this is an indicator of freshness. And there's a number here that's laid out by the Council for Responsible Nutrition and also by the Global Organization for EPA and DHA. And that number is 26 microequivalents per kg. You don't need to worry about that, except to understand that the lower the number, the fresher the product, the lower the chance of rancidity, the better the product is going to be. And Eskimo comes in consistently at 5. So it's really, really fresh and really stable. Again, one of the reasons it's so fresh is how quickly the oil is extracted once the fish is actually being caught. So again, there's an EU standard that says that fish oils for human consumption need to be extracted within 36 hours of the fish being caught. Does this always happen out there in the real world? Not so sure, but because Eskimo has their own fishing fleet, they're all day catchers. The trawlers go out to sea, they come back into port the same day. So the oil is always extracted in a really short period of time, about 15 hours actually. They actually say themselves in the factory that if you wanted to get fish oils as fresh as those used in Eskimo, you'd have to go down to your local harbour, meet the fisherman coming in from his day's catch, buy the fish off him, bring it home and cook it within 4 hours. So that's how fresh it is. How are we doing on time? Okay, almost there, guys. The last piece we just want to touch on really quickly is bioavailability. So we know that everybody's hung up on high strength omega-3. We know it needs to be fresh and pure, but for the product to be effective, of course, it needs to be available. It needs to be able to get into your system and do the job that it's supposed to do. Um, Again, on the market, we've seen the emergence in recent years of a lot of sort of synthetic fish oils, a lot of fish oils that are in a more concentrated or maybe chemically modified form. This is an ethyl ester form of omega-3. Eskimo is in what we call natural triglyceride form. Human beings have been, digesting and absorbing triglycerides since time began. Ethyl esters are a man-made substance that don't exist in nature. Therefore, their ability to be absorbed by the human body is much less. So research has shown that triglyceride form omega-3 is up to 70% better absorbed than your ethyl ester omega-3s. So you'll see, guys, on all our packaging, we've got the Friend of the Sea logo. And again, Friend of the Sea is the gold standard around the whole area of sustainability and traceability. So this means we don't overfish, we don't fish for endangered species. We have to comply with really strict criteria around our fishing practices. And so on, in order to retain the Friend of the Sea logo and to pass the various inspections that the fishery must go through. The company also operates a zero waste policy. So absolutely everything is used. So what that means in practice is that, the fish is caught, the oil is extracted, that goes into, airtight barrels, that becomes your fish oil. The carcass of the fish, the remainder of the fish then goes on to be used as fish meal for animal feed, fish and animal feed. And then even when they do the cleaning process, the purification process back in the factory, the runoff, the residue from that is actually used in the production of biodiesel. So absolutely everything is used. It's 100% utilization of the fish. That's the policy. All our packaging, guys, of course, is eco-friendly. And we use our glass bottles, which is really important for the integrity of the oil. We don't use plastic, and all our cardboard is, of course, certified recyclable. The company itself are very strong in the whole area of social responsibility. This would have been started, in fairness, by Allah's parents. A huge commitment to charitable giving every year. You'll see that sometimes with the Pat Curran Award, but apart from that, the company's commitment that 1% of our total revenue, not 1% of our profit, 1% of our total revenue every year goes back into charity at the end of the year. So that's part of our contribution in terms of social responsibility. Okay, so if we've time, guys, really quickly then touch on just a couple of products in the range. So we've mentioned already one of my favorite products. Maya, I think you were taking this yourself at one stage. This is our large, I call this our large liquid. It comes in two sizes. Our 210 ml bottle here on the screen. This is a teaspoon a day, delivers 1700 milligrams of omega-3 per teaspoon. So it's fantastic in terms of your omega-3 content. Your EPA and DHA levels are really good as well. 785 EPA, 554 DHA. So that's like almost 1400 milligrams of EPA and DHA combined. For context, the European Food Safety Authority recommendation for heart health is 250 milligrams of EPA and DHA combined. So that's over 5 times the minimum level in just 1 teaspoon a day. Of course, this is a balanced omega-3, so you're getting your EPA and DHA in that 3:2 ratio that we mentioned earlier on. All the health benefits in terms of general health benefits of omega-3 apply here. So heart health, brain function, joints, hair, skin, and nails, really important to take during pregnancy as well. Great natural anti-inflammatory. It's a teaspoon a day, so that's your 5 ml. Has a little bit of a lime flavor in there to take the sting out of it. And of course, it's sugar free and free from all artificial colorings and flavoring as well. And of course, if you don't want to take it directly off the spoon, you can, of course, mix it in with yogurt smoothie, protein shakes, whatever. If you're taking a liquid multivit, you can add into that as well. And it's just 1 teaspoon a day. Then the second product, guys, this is one of our top selling products called Eskimo 3 Extra. So this is our one a day omega-3 and vitamin D product. So it's omega-3, it's vitamin D, it's one a day. You're getting 800 milligrams of omega-3 per capsule. You can take two if you absolutely want to. Again, this is focused on the whole area of anti-inflammatory, heart health. We've got vitamin D, of course, you mentioned for immunity and for bones and muscles as well, and just a one a day supplement. So people love this one, obviously, because of the convenience. Then we've got our Eskimo Brain 369. It's a no-brainer, and particularly this time of year. So it comes in liquid and capsules. Really good. I mean, obviously, it's focused on brain health, delivers a lot of benefits in the whole area of PMS, uh, has lots of omega-3 for heart health as well. So it's omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, CoQ10, and vitamin D. So it's a lovely combination, particularly focused on the whole area of brain health, but really good for hormonal stuff as well, in terms of hormone regulation, mood. It's an anti-inflammatory, obviously. Has a little bit of CoQ10, as I mentioned, and some vitamin D in there too. And then our kids range again comes in liquid or in a one a day chewable. The liquid comes in two flavors, orange and tutti frutti. Again, free from aspartame, sugars, artificial colorings, or flavorings, flavored with natural fruit oils. This is a lovely little study that I just wanted to show you that they did on primary school kids in Denmark. This is over a 4 month period. It was just 1 teaspoon of Eskimo kids a day for 4 months. And you can see the results there yourself. So improvement um, in memory of 58%, mathematics, ability to do mathematical problems improved by 70%, and then reductions in throat and upper airway infections improved by 69%. And they also found huge benefits for eczema, dry skin, recurrent colds, and ear problems. And that was just from 1 teaspoon of Eskimo kids per day for 4 month period. So, guys, I suppose in summary, I wasn't tracking the time, so I'm not sure how we're doing, Maya. In summary, you can see that Eskimo 3 is essential for every life stage, and that's even before you're born. So in conception, when we have products there from age 1 plus for babies into the toddler age, we've got our tubal products once they're age 3, teenagers. Two of them in this house, really important to the Brain 369 capsules are liquid from age 12 plus. Then into adulthood, pregnancy, we've got our full range of adult products there, Eskimo 3 in capsules or liquid. Of course, we've our one a day products as well, and then all the way through into later life. So there's literally a product for everybody the whole way through every life stage. So to summarize, guys, we talked about Eskimo. I told you about the fact that it's sustainable, so fully traceable from ocean to shop floor. We literally know where every drop comes from. It's also, of course, in a natural triglyceride form, so the absorption is fantastic. Every single batch is tested for purity. It's incredibly fresh and stable omega-3, contains a natural antioxidant mixture called Pufanox, which is patented to Eskimo oil. Really high strength in terms of our liquid, particularly gives you 5 times the minimum requirement in 1 teaspoon a day. And I suppose the final piece is the amount of research that has actually been done on Eskimo. There's been over 100 articles published on the brand, including, I think, 7 doctors' theses. So I suppose everything that we put out there in terms of our advertising and social media and everything we say about the product is all actually scientifically proven. And that's Eskimo. How are we
Thank you,
doing?
Michael. That's awesome. That chart that you just had up in the previous slide was particularly handy. I could see that being a good printout
Thank you.
of
We'll
what,
take it.
when, and where. I was astounded to see your graph about the dioxin levels on more than half of the products that were
Mm.
tested. Gosh. Anyhow, does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask Michael? We've got a minute to field some questions.
Sorry, I went a little bit over there.
Well, your presentation was very thorough,
Well, thank
and
you.
at the minute, we have no questions, so I think we'll move on. But thank you very much for that, Michael.
Thank you so much.
That was
And
Excellent presentation.
you can share our email address there in AMI, and if anybody wants to contact us directly, feel free